welcome back. It's a different day. I still haven't shaved. I look disgusting, which is perfect for our next movie, which is the most boringest thing ever. Blade of the Iron Cross. I'm sorry. You tried. Our next movie is Stuff Stephanie in the Incinerator. And for a title like that, how could you fuck it up? Let me tell you. I don't even want this. You get orange fluorescent lighting for this, because that's what this movie's shot in. Let's get this over with and out of the way first, and then I can discuss what little there is to discuss. This movie is directed by Don Nardo. I wish that was a name I was making up. Movie. He has a wide history of directing nothing else. This movie is also written by Don Nardo, and somehow it has a second writer named Peter Jones, and both of them went on to write nothing else. Which isn't technically true. Peter Jones technically wrote like one episode of El Dorado, a soap opera from like the 90s. Don Nardo wrote one episode of Spencer for Hire. Apart from that, that's it. And it stars people who, if you go and look at their IMDb or Letterboxd or Google them, have been in nothing besides Stuff Stephanie in the Incinerator. The main girl was in some music video or something called like Demon Rain, but I don't want to say I couldn't find information about it. I probably could. I didn't care. So that's it. That's our cast, that's our crew. Nothing. I have a quote here directly from Wikipedia. It's about Don Nardo, and there is like a 50-50 shot that he wrote his own Wikipedia, because what this says, I've never heard of this motherfucker before. Don Nardo has published 540 books. Apparently, one of America's most prolific authors. This isn't a direct quote, I'm paraphrasing a little bit. The direct quote is 540 published books, one of America's most prolific authors. I put the apparently in there because I have never heard of this guy in my life. Now, that doesn't mean that he hasn't published 540 books, but something's weird. Let me get into the plot of Stuff Stephanie in the Incinerator. I don't even think I need... You hear that title, and you don't think I need to get into the plot of Stuff Stephanie in the Incinerator. It seems pretty point A to B. Stephanie, Incinerator, you know? So, our plot is, Guy is kidnapped, taken to a mansion in the woods. For the first about 37 minutes, I want to say, it is a kidnapped person thriller where there's a brainwashed girl named Stephanie and this guy, and they're being watched by a woman named Roberta. Roberta has two bodyguards. One I thought was Lloyd Kaufman, which we'll get into why I thought Lloyd Kaufman was here, because that's a whole other mystery. Okay. What? Is that Lloyd Kaufman? But she has two bodyguards and whatever, and her whole thing is she wants Stephanie and Guy to have sex so she can watch. Stuff Stephanie in the Incinerator. The first 37 minutes are this. They eventually have sex, not on camera, thank God, because this is shot on like VHS, and same rules apply with what I said, Blade the Iron Cross, where because everybody's got a 4K camera in their pocket now, I feel like perverts are making these movies. Same thing applied with people shooting on VHS. So thankfully nothing's on screen, but they eventually have sex, and then Roberta is like, I actually want what you did to her done to me. And then it's, at this point, it's all, whatever could happen. I don't know. A xenomorph could burst in and I'd just be like, okay, finally something. Then they're like about to kiss, and then Roberta freaks out, and then they all kind of giggle and laugh, and then there's like a montage that goes on for what feels like 17 years. Dude, Stephanie, and Roberta in a dressing room, changing, putting on makeup, changing into regular people clothing, and now we're in an entirely different fucking place. To the point that I thought I blinked and missed something. Because we're no longer in this mansion. What the fuck is going on? This isn't even the same place now. What's going on? Jared? I feel like I missed something. Like I managed to actually miss something during the section where they were cleaning their faces. Turns out that this mansion that dude was kidnapped to is just another wing of this house. Because the real plot is Roberta is a guy who was playing an old woman and was paid by guy who was kidnapped, who is actually super turbo duper rich and just wants to like act out these fantasies for some fucking reason. The girl, Stephanie, is not Stephanie. Her name in the movie is Casey, and she was playing the character of Stephanie, so now Stephanie's gone. Stephanie's not in this fucking movie. We can't shove Stephanie in the incinerator if Stephanie's not in the fucking movie. So, now for the next hour and 17 minutes, I want to say. I want to say hour and 10. I don't know. It's an hour and 37-minute movie, so my times aren't going to match up. I don't care. For the next hour and 10 minutes or so, it is now a domestic thriller where dude is obsessive about his wife, Casey, who was Stephanie in the first 30 minutes, playing the role of this character in some fucking dumb thing that he wants to act out. Even going so far as to mention that he wants to act out some historical thing that involved an island, and he just bought an island so that they could do this. She gets to stay on the boat, though, while he goes off onto the island and has adventures or whatever, whoever this historical person it was. It does mention also on Don Nardo's Wikipedia that he's like a historian, so maybe that's where this weird obsession... I don't know. There's no information about this fucking movie. I spent like 2 hours trying to research it, and there's nothing. No one cares except for me, and I only care out of frustration. So the domestic thriller bits are, rich guy is so fucking distracted about this dumb shit he wants to act out. Casey is cheating on him with, I don't know why I remember this name, Nick, the gas station attendant who's in the movie for 2 minutes. And then Robert comes back into the picture to try and rob the rich guy's house because he wants to sell paintings or whatever to get more money, even though he got like 70 grand or some shit for playing Roberta in this weird sex fantasy thing. And then, God, it all just like culminates. I'm just skipping because I'm just trying to think of what else happened. Nothing fucking happened. Nothing. It all culminates in now husband person is playing a safari guy who knew about their plan, which, to go back just a little bit, the plan was Casey and Robert were going to team up, join forces, kill the husband, stuff him in the incinerator. There is actually an incinerator in this movie. Like, holy they were going to stuff him in the incinerator, wait the 7 years, then claim him on insurance as missing, and we can't find him. Like, they just needed a way to fully get rid of his body, which, I don't know where they're living. Bodies can stink when you burn them. And I don't know that from experience. I know that from welding and, like, scorching my arm a little bit. I have a sunburn on my wrist. It stinks when you burn skin, okay? So, I don't know if they're living out in the middle of nowhere or not. It's never specified, thank Christ. Somebody would smell that. Anywho, that's their plan. They sneak up into Guy's bedroom, like at 10 p.m. or some shit, and just beat the fuck out of him in the bed. Just trying to smash his face in. And then he's under the covers. Face is under the covers. Already I'm like, that's not him. That's not him. That's too simple, and that would be too fucking stupid. They somehow, from the bed, take the body, wrap it in the sheets, throw it in a plastic fucking body bag, never once uncovering the face to make sure it's the guy, dragging him downstairs, about to put him in the incinerator, and then Casey's like, wait, let's make sure this is actually my husband. And then they undo the thing. Oh my god, it's Nick, the gas station attendant. They just beat the fuck out of this guy. And now, husband is dressed as a safari guy, back to where I started, and he's like, I knew what your plan was. I have cameras all over the place, which do come back later. He's like, I have cameras all over the place. I knew what your plan was. And now, I'm going to give you 1 minute to go hide in this house. And I'm going to hunt you guys down. And then that's what the last, like, 10 minutes of this hour and 10-minute section are, is Robert and Casey running. Robert was also going to betray Casey, meaning he wouldn't get the insurance money because he wasn't related to and or married to Rich Guy. He just wanted to fucking beat her brains in, too, I guess. I don't know. So, whatever. Now, the gambit is Casey's running for her life away from her husband, who was going to shoot her, and from Robert, who was going to kill him. Robert is running away from the guy who was trying to shoot him, and also kind of sort of going after Casey so that he can kill her, and Rich Guy is just trying to kill them both. That's our last 10 minutes. Robert gets shot. Nope, he doesn't. He lunges at Casey. Casey accidentally stabs him in the stomach with scissors, and that almost kills him. She then runs downstairs. There's an Iron Maiden in the living room. I never mentioned that prior, and you're not going to get an explanation for that. Go fuck yourself. There's an Iron Maiden in the living room. Casey and her husband are trying to talk. She's trying to smooth out this and then she kicks him. He shoots her in like the arm, I think, or shoulder. He falls into the Iron Maiden that begins to shut. When she falls, she flicks a light switch that causes like a dressing room to come down, I guess. Plenty of time to move, only shot in the arm, could just roll out of the way. Instead, she just waits there and lets the fucking thing crush her. And then, Robert, I think Robert pushed him into the Iron Maiden. It doesn't matter. They're all dead. It ends with Casey crushed, rich guy in Iron Maiden, and Robert on the floor dead. Then, the camera zooms out from a TV screen of what we were just watching. Robert, Casey, and rich guy are all sitting there, all having a good laugh, all yucking it up. To which I'm on the couch, screaming, screeching, because I am sick of this boring goddamn nothing. Rich guy then hands them all out money, except they deducted points from somebody for something. I don't even know. I don't care. I was so frustrated at this point. I didn't give a shit. Because, again, it was all an elaborate play, just like the beginning of the movie. This was the whole hour and 10 was just an elaborate whatever. And then the last 7 minutes are people coming into the house, basically striking the set, to set up for next year's games, as they call it. Nick, apparently, I think this is the joke that they end the movie with, is Nick, the gas station attendant person, is angry that he didn't have more screen time in this thing, and then rich guy gets into taxi or limo or whatever the f with him, and they're arguing like a gay married couple. Somebody specifically says something, or it's insinuated like that, and I think that's the ending joke, is that the rich asshole husband is actually gay, and that's like the joke to close the movie. This was fucking horrible. This was one of the worst things I've ever seen. I don't know, it's been a while since I've seen feeders, and I've been pretty hell-bent on like feeders being the worst thing. At least something happens in feeders. This was horrible. There was a moment where I was like, I want to say 3 hours into this hour and 37-minute movie, and I had to go change my youngest child's diaper, and I paused the movie, and when the little fucking bar came up that said how much time was left, and I was only 52 minutes into this movie that I thought I was watching 3 hours of already, I almost wanted to cry. I was so done. Alright. Pause the recording commentary. We're only 52 minutes in. Jesus Christ. I thought we were at least like 3 hours in by now. Here's the real kicker. The reason I thought that one of her little security guard people was Lloyd Kaufman was because when the movie's opening, Lloyd Kaufman and Troma Entertainment are shown as producers or executive producers or whatever. Lloyd Kaufman? Okay. Alright. So it's a Troma. I didn't know that. Yup, I didn't know it was a Troma movie. Or maybe it's just distributed by them. Who knows? So this was either made or distributed by Troma. Troma, for those who are unaware, made The Toxic Avenger, Poultrygeist, Romeo and Juliet, Nuke 'Em High, violent, vile, cheap shit that I like because it's violent and vile and cheap. I don't think, judging by who was involved in making this, the fact that none of the actors were in anything else before or after, the fact that the director and writer wrote literally nothing else at all, like one episode of a TV show, okay, I could f***ing do that. So I don't imagine Troma, like the production company of Troma, had anything to do with this. I imagine this was just picked up for distribution, like, what's that one Vietnam... Combat Shock? Yeah, Combat Shock was a Troma distributed film. Troma didn't do anything, they just picked it up for distribution. So I can only imagine it was like that. And on the IMDb, I was seeing that it was like bundled in like a 3-movie pack of other that either Troma was involved in or just distributed. I don't know. I didn't look into that. I didn't care enough. My point is, this movie's a mystery to me, and I've gone so far as to look up archived articles on. There was like a horror review website from the early 2000s that talked about this, and the New York Post talked about this, or New York Times Post, one of them talked about this. TV Guide talked about this. TV Guide has a fairly positive review about this piece of shit, which is like crazy. There's no answers for this. I don't know what the fuck it is. I hated every second of it, and I never want to see it again. You had such a great title. The best title I've ever seen, Stuff Stephanie in the Incinerator. That is your entire... There was no Stephanie, there was an Incinerator, no one got stuffed into it. The 3 things I was promised weren't even here. Yeah, I'm on the schlockometer or whatever we're calling this, 0.5. I have to give this a rating, and I do not one too. This would be a flat 0. This is a 0.5 out of 5. This is horrible. Blade the Iron Cross, I'm so sorry I called you the most boringest thing ever, because this was the most boringest. This was so much worse. This was horrible. Anyway, that's it for this one. Tune in tomorrow for another fucking boring nightmare. What? I was hoping it was just that frame for the rest of the movie.